UT students are making their campus concerns known to new interim UT system president Randy Boyd. WBIR 10 News reporter Shannon Smith tells us what students want to see changed. Shannon.
Well, Randy Boyd has only been on the job for a few days. Tonight, he asked students if money was no object, what would their biggest wish be for campus? Students were clear. They want a more inclusive campus and lower tuition.
This auditorium full of students came together to hear from their new interim president, Randy Boyd.
And the goal was just to get a better understanding of what matters to all of our stakeholders here, and also make sure that I'm hearing what their big wishes are.
UT students were vocal about a lot of topics, but two kept coming up. The first, tuition costs.
I know many people who were deterred from coming to the University of Tennessee because of the cost.
Bryce Troll and other students asked Boyd what the school can do to cut costs or offer more scholarships.
His answer, I think, was satisfactory. He said, as you'd expect, of course, the university is going to try to either maintain costs, provide more scholarships, or lower the costs.
The other hot topic, diversity and inclusivity.
We're the only school in the SEC without a diversity officer.
Megan Tiller thinks more can be done to make all students feel welcome on campus, especially in light of recent messages written on the rock.
To call wording on the rock that says kill Jews and rape is good, that is no longer free speech. That is hate speech. That is actively inciting violence, and we need to take a stand against that.
Boyd says the university will look for ways to support the diverse communities on campus.
It's important for us to have a welcoming environment. If we have a place where everybody believes that they're going to be respected, they're going to be engaged, they're going to feel that they belong, then I think that will recruit great faculty and recruit great students.
While many students applaud Boyd's efforts and look forward to his leadership, not everyone is convinced he's the right man for the job. But Boyd says his main priorities are finding both a new president and a new chancellor. Robin, John.
Shannon, thanks.
City Councilman